Oh, there we go. Working. Yay. Yeah, so, sorry about the delay. Anyway, yeah, sorry about the delay. So, okay, let's see. What's the plan for today? Well, the sound's good, so that's fine. So, how should I do this? I have 3 monitors, but I can't use that one. That sucks. Oh, okay, that will work. So I'll just pull that. There we go. So, let me just check some things. Yeah, sorry about there we go. Ta-da! Now this is too big, obviously, but... So the plan for today is I'm going to be doing the Challenger 2017 Division 4, Round 1. So this is one of like the competition events on HWbot online. And the benchmarks for today, so there's 5 benchmarks in total. There's GPU Pi for CPU, 1 billion. That takes a while to finish. That's a 4-minute benchmark, or longer. Then there's Geekbench 3 multi-core, Unity in Heaven, Cinebench 11.5, and 3D Mark TimeSpy. So TimeSpy requires Windows 10, can't do that. Geekbench 3, if you don't pay for it, you can't use it without an internet connection, so I can't do that either. And GPU Pi is weird about tweaks. Like, there's a very specific, like, depending on what you're running, you have to do something specific for that one to work. So today I'll focus on Unity in Heaven and Cinebench 11.5. And if those two go well, then maybe I'll do GPU Pi, but I can't do Geekbench and TimeSpy yet. There's still 26 days in the competition, so it's not a huge issue. So, yeah. So let's go over the rules. The rules for today's competition are AMD FX CPUs and a single AMD GPU. So I think I might be kind of cheating here, but let's take a look at the system. And I can finally close that down. So, okay. So let's go over the system. Somebody posted that the chat is broken, and I'm like, is it actually broken, or are they just trying to mess with me? So, here is the disaster for today. Ignore the rest of the desk. I was repairing this repairing. I screwed up a volt mod on this, so this card was hard locked at like 1.4 volts. I've since fixed that, so it no longer runs at 1.4 volts, which is a good thing. So that's a jet flow. That blows into the card to help the VRM, which is sort of right there. So that helps the VRM a little, and it also helps, well, there's actually another memory VRM up here and another VRM for the memory controller right under this. So that helps those. The motherboard is the Gigabyte 990FX G1 Gaming. It's a 4+ 2-phase VRM using a doubling scheme that's actually running like half switching frequency. So it's basically an 8-phase with a limited maximum switching frequency. You can't also control it through the BIOS. You can't tweak the switching frequency. So that kind of sucks, but hey, the motherboard costs way, like, it's one of the cheaper, like, it's by far the cheapest AM3 Plus board I actually like to use. So I'm okay with that. For the RAM, I'm using Mushkin. These are PSC ICs, and these do 2600 H12.8 on Intel systems. But for this motherboard, like, the memory controller on this CPU can't do 2600. It can do like 2500, but once I pull it down on the LN2, it should go a lot faster. So, yeah. Power supply is an Antec high current 1200 watt. And then there's this little power supply, the G550, that's powering the fans, because as you can see, the fans are independent of main system power. That's just to help with condensation buildup. And then I'm using a ROGOC panel for temperature monitoring, and one of my temperature sensors is broken. That one's always stuck at like 11 degrees or something, because I don't know why, that port's just dead. So, yeah. Let's get this started up. For Windows, I'm going to be using Windows 7. This cable. Ta-da! Well, I think I'll point you down more. There. So, right now it's at ambient 24 degrees. And it's a bit... Oh no, that whole screw spins through. Oh yeah, and the case, so this is... I'm using an open bench table. Not my usual test bench, just because my usual test bench is a horrific mess. And so I don't really, if I want to run LN2, I'd rather pull a system, pull that off of the desk and build this, rather than run that. So, yeah, there's not really, I might do a review of the open bench table, but it's, I don't, it's hard to talk about something this basic. I mean, it's better than a cardboard box, but that's kind of not a huge amount of, that's not a very high requirement. So, let's fire this up, and I'll show you the BIOS settings. And I'll just boot it even with no LN2 in the pot, because that's a Bauer Fusion, and that pot is heavy as hell, and it actually soaks up a lot of heat before it gets warm, even with the 9590 under it. And I said that, and it's already at 26 degrees. So here we're in the BIOS. So, as you can clearly see, right now it's at 4.2 gigahertz. The memory is at 2350. For memory timings, I'm actually running 8.12.8. So basically the plan is once I get into the OS, it's perfectly set up that I just need to do 235, and it'll pull up to 2.5 gigahertz. So there we go. And I just need to check a few more things. And that hit 30 just now, so I'm going to give it a splash of LN2, and I also want to figure out the temperatures. What the hell is with that BIOS temperature reading? Oh, that's interesting. It's reading 8. This is reading 24. That's reading, I have no idea what. So, that's great. Let's see how there is a system monitor somewhere here. System temperature 26. I'm going to guess that system temperature probe is right inside the CPU socket. So I'll trust that over whatever the readout is. Well, actually, I can test that. I can pull it down a bit further. And if that drops, then I know it is. It'd be really nice, because that CPU temperature is... Yeah, I have no idea. I guess the thermal sensor died or something. Okay. Thermal sensor is completely screwed up on this CPU. I have no idea why. No, that's lovely. So, with that out of the way, there's a few things I wanted to change about my advanced frequency settings. So, that's supposed to be disabled. Disabled because I don't need that. Core C6, that's fine. Disabled, good. Disabled. Don't need that. I think it was this that you need to enable for something to work. So, I'm just going to test that out. Because if that works, then that'll be really, really useful in benchmarks, because I'll be able to run different frequencies on the different cores. Because FX chips actually do support that technology, I just never figured out how to get it working in the past. There we go. So that's the OS. And what was it I wanted to do? Right, this. Oh wait, this is on a... Yeah, that's the wrong version of CPU-Z. Yeah, and this is why the stream was delayed, because I spent so much time setting up the system and I still managed to forget things. So it does that randomly. I think the memory's not completely stable. I don't think it's the GPU. I really hope it's not the GPU, because if it was the GPU, I'd be screwed. But it finished Unigine Heaven several times today, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that's not what's causing it. Oh wait, vCore load line. That's dumb. Medium. So that's just, this motherboard gets the vCore is most stable on medium settings. If you run any other setting, it kind of goes all over the place. Pull that up. There. I'll leave that as is. So, I need to get... Wait, I should already have the new version of CPU-Z, so I guess I'll just check that once we're in Windows. Also, this PSU I'm using for some reason causes every GPU I run on it to scream like crazy when running benchmarks, like coil line. So that's going to be, well, you're probably not going to hear it, but I have to live with that for every run of Unigine. So it's going to be fun. No. Should be a copy of CPU-Z on here. That doesn't suck. Utility. Let's see. Is that the new version? Yeah, that's the new version. Wait. There's gonna be a new version that supports Ryzen. Damn it! I didn't have to keep updating my utilities, that'd be great. Oh no, they're still on 1.78. So I'm good. And it just died again. Okay, well, I guess I'll drop the memory. Overclock. The card should be fine. You know what, I could just do that. That's the easy way to get things working. Or this install of Windows could be broken. That's also a possibility, because I did spend a lot of time on that. 2. Wait, no, it's 4.1 right now. Oh, there was a way. There was a way to check, like... Okay, I can underclock it up and down. are the... Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you can get it to do this, where you don't have all your cores at the same speed, so you can like tweak two modules to go faster than the other. Also, Unigine Heaven with a Fury X and an FX 9590 is a horrific CPU bottleneck. So, I don't know. Which benchmark should we do first? Nope, my audio's still good here, so... Have I tested the latest 17XX drivers? Nope. This right now is running 16.11.2. I think my personal system is running 16.11.2. I think everything I have is running 16.11.2. So, Cinebench. Everybody wants Cinebench. Okay. Oh, by the way, cool thing. I did hook up the power meter, so when we're running benchmarks, we'll know how much power it's pulling. So I'm thinking we'll go straight down to, you know, very negative and run like 6+ gigahertz for Cinebench. I just need to check the score I need to get. No, don't want to close that. Definitely don't want to close the chat. That would be very problematic. So, Cinebench, and I need 9.93 points, and the last guy to do that did it at 5.7. 5.7? Okay, well. There we go. And so I'll now just try dive the system. You know what? Since I'm actually doing that, it might make sense to just take all of my cores, you know, pull everything, down. I have no idea what I'm doing. Actually, yeah, I'll just drop it all the way to really low clocks because that'll lower the power draw while I'm pulling it down. So it'll pull down quicker. Yeah, we're at 1.4 gigahertz. Also, why the hell are all my letters that awful color? And we're already in the negatives. I think yeah, I'll need more. Oh. Minus 25. Minus 30. I wonder how well this will work when I try to use EasyTune along with that. I wonder if it'll... And I hate the EasyTune utility. I mean, this thing is... Yeah, look at it. It is so awful. The overclocking profile, I don't care. Yeah, and then it crashes. Please work. It worked before I installed the GPU drivers. Actually, it worked for the Sempron video, so I don't see why it wouldn't work now. I just press OK. And I'm starting to think PS Check is killing it. Minus 46. We're just going to go straight down, because this doesn't have a cold bug at all. No, why does it keep crashing? Stupid pile of garbage. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's due to PS check, which means I'd have to... yeah. Okay, that's broken. Where's... ah. Gigabyte. I don't get why they can't, like... Like, Gigabyte has a really nice, stripped-down overclocking utility for their Intel stuff, but not for their AMD platforms. Pull it back to 4.1. Right, I'll see if the utility doesn't start working again. If it doesn't, then I'm restarting the system. Oh, it's not going to start working. I mean, I can always just do all the overclocking from the BIOS, but that's less than ideal. Because, well, admittedly, Cinebench is heavier than Windows, but Windows boot up, but yeah, not ideal. Having to boot at high clocks. Are you kidding me? Stupid freaking operating system. No. Why do I have to check disk at minus 100? I should have disabled that before I tried this. I think EasyTune probably broke something. Lovely. Well, while we wait for that, I'm going to go answer questions. It's running on an SSD. I don't know what, it's a SanDisk something. So now we're at minus 106, 4.1 gigahertz. That's real overclocking right there. Why is this so slow? Wait, how many 288,000 files. What frequency am I aiming for today? I'd like to run at 7 gigahertz. I think 7 gigahertz would be like a nice frequency to run at. The CPU can just barely do 8 gigahertz. Well, actually used to, well, there's one core on this chip that can do just over 8 gigahertz, barely. I haven't tested the other modules, but I know the first one, and it just restarted for some reason, but yeah, it can do just under 8 gigahertz with most of its cores. And actually, I think all 8 cores get stuck at like 7.2. So, I don't think, like, I think it'll be between like 6 and 7 gigahertz. Oh, we're in Windows. Let's see if EasyTune starts working. So, interesting thing about FX CPUs, which I should have realized before I started before I set up the BIOS for the memory, they don't like very high multipliers. So, if you want to do like 8 gigahertz, you can't use the like 30x multiplier because it doesn't work. And it keeps crashing. So, I'm just gonna go and... Is the memory cold or something? No, the memory's warm. Why is the keyboard not working? The hell? Still no keyboard. Okay, so that did something. We're at minus 90 again. There we go, keyboard's back. I hope it was just a USB issue, so, let's see. 28. I think 1866 should be fine. And that means it's 9. I have to run that at 10. Voltage 1.65, 1.4, no, 1.45. Let me just quickly check if this will work out. Because once I'm in the operating system, I only want to play with the FSB. Or actually, I could do it. There's two ways I could do it. I could set the FSB to where I want to right now and then play with the multiplier. So, yeah, I'll just figure that out. Where's my calculator? There it is. 28 times 235. That's 6.5 gigahertz. Not quite where I want it to be. 245. Yeah, that should work. So, advanced frequency. Five. That's too slow. 260. Now, 265. That's not going to boot up. I'm going to pull that down to 6. Actually, lower. It's not going to boot that either. There we go. Voltage 1.7. 1.5. Give that a bit more. Damn it. HT length 1.3. That doesn't need to be tweaked. 1.25. F10. Save. That should boot right up, unless I'm an idiot and I let it get really warm in that time. So. Boot, please. There we go, motherboard made it. Yeah, so the reason why I like this motherboard more than, say, V6... There we go, yeah, I made it. More than, say, something like the 970 Pro Gaming Aura, which I've used a few, well, for some, which I basically have from Asus, is that this thing right here is a lot better at memory overclocking. As in, I can actually boot up 2500 H12.8 on this, whereas on the Aura, that's completely hopeless trying to do that. Go. 11 liter. And this is at minus 100. I'm just going to pull it down lower. And then we'll see. Oh, and it crashed again. What on earth does it keep... Why does it keep doing that? I'll try to turn off a few things in the BIOS. Oh. That might be causing some issues. So, CPU warning temperature. What? Should be an option to disable the thermal sensors. Actually, I'll drop that down a little bit. no real need for me to have to boot with 2500 megahertz memory. I can pull that up in the OS, assuming Easy Tune starts working again. Better not start checking disk again. Minus 120. Memory management. Well, that at least tells us that it is indeed the memory that's the problem. Progress. Board freezing through properly? That's cold. Oh, I remember this board is weird about... I have to enable XMP. I have no idea why it needs that, but it does. And then you can run some memory settings, and then... Yeah, for some reason, if you don't have XMP enabled, it behaves weird, but... I think it's because it uses the XMP profile for whatever memory kit you have in there to figure out all the sub-timings. It just died again, didn't it? Oh no, Windows is in. Yeah, now it's going to take a plunge. Minus 50, well, 150, 160. Man, I hate that cracking sound all the parts make when they get cold. It's just awful. And that's not the thermal paste giving up, as Cinebench will shortly demonstrate. Oh, that's awful noise. Accept. So I just want to check. Why the hell does it keep dropping out? VRM, huh? No, VRM's more. Arcbridge is fine. Okay, you know what? I'll swap GPUs. The board was like definitely working earlier, so the only thing I don't know is that GPU, because that thing's been sitting for a while. So let's see. I do have another Fury I can swap right in, so it's not a huge problem. Why did that have to fall? You know what? I'm gonna... Damn it, where's the thermal probe? There we go. So I'll just grab the Fury I have and use that instead. The air-cooled card. I do have another Fury that I have on on which I threw the water cooler from my dead Fury X. But yeah, I really hope that one's working, but right now I don't have the time to figure out what's wrong with it, so just go to this thing. And this thing is known good, so at least it was good last time I tried it. So there. And well, I just lost that thumb nut there, so this thing doesn't clock that far. I think it's like 1160? 1180, something like that. That thermal probe out of the way. That just got warm again. It's back at minus 146. And it's back. So if it stops dropping out, then I need to figure out what's wrong with that card. Might have degraded the HBM on it too. That would suck. In which case I'd have to just put like a 450 megahertz HBM BIOS on it. But that would still suck. This time we will finally get a sign bench run in. Except installing device driver, yeah. I'll just wait for that to finish, then we'll run Cinebench, because it doesn't really matter if the GPU is recognized or not. Okay, that's good. Just going to check that the CPU frequency is where I want it. Yeah, so we're at 5.5 gigahertz right now. It's not a CPU, it's not a GPU problem, so that makes me happy and sad at the same time. Because it's not a... Oh, that's fun. Oh, it's not hanging, so the CPU still works. Makes you wonder what went wrong. Okay, well, I'll just disable some things and see if they... Disable, onboard... Uncontrolled. Yeah, okay, disable that. Keep that. The RM is not even that hot, which leads me to believe, how's the PCB? Yeah, PCB's freezing, so... It's definitely getting cooled, but... Why is it not capable of finishing Cinebench? Now it's good. Well, it works. Kinda. Let's see how much power that's pulling. Only 1.5 amps at the wall. So, about 300 watts. It's really not that bad. But it does mean that the card's not the issue here, it's something else. Okay, so that's 9.55. I need 4 more points. Easy Tune, please work, you horrific pile of garbage. Ah, there. Now, I think I might have to reinstall that. Yeah, that's broken. Should be able to tweak the... in here, so... Now, if only I knew... Yeah, I'm not going to play with that right now. So... Oh, that sucks. Does that give me a good score at all on the ranking? No, that's like 5th. Yeah, I'm restarting. So I guess I'll have to do everything from the BIOS. That's perfect. I want to run at 6. C 1.8. There. 500 megahertz increments are totally a reasonable way to go from to overclock your CPU with. I need more LN2. Is it not posting? It's not posting. Okay, great. Yeah, so it did that thing again. Oh, I wonder if the VR... No, that's not possible. That it could, like, have overcurrent protection, but if it had overcurrent protection and didn't trip it in the middle of Cinebench, then I don't know what the hell it would be tripping it for while trying to boot. Now it's going to tell me that OC failed, assuming it can actually get to that stage. No, it can't. Because it got too warm again. Actually pretty hard to keep the system complete at minus 190. I think this can go all the way down that far. Minus 170. Nope, still not going to boot up. What the hell? Could be cool and quiet, which does make PS Check work, so I don't know. Ooh, that might be what's conflicting with Easy Tune. Got one thing working and broke the other. Well, it's not booting these BIOS settings anytime soon, so I'm just gonna shut it down. Shut it down, not restart, you idiotic computer. Hit the BIOS reset, and... It's a really interesting issue. Oh, so it's stuck at minus 170. Oh, that's great. Enter BIOS. Hopefully, I can just do this. Load profiles. Last known good. Okay, so last known good ideally should be, yeah, that's 5.5. Okay, so let's kill that. And I'll try boot that. More voltage. It's also completely possible that all 8 cores, like some of the cores on the CPU, just suck completely and it won't actually boot with all 8 enabled. Please, motherboard, please do this. What the hell is with the system? Something wet or something? Whoa. Okay, that... Well, no, if I was having water issues, then resetting it shouldn't be booting. Yeah, so I'm not getting that lower than minus 170, but whatever. Oh. Back in the BIOS again. Okay, I'm just gonna give up on that memory overclock, though. Evidently, it doesn't like it. No. What? Memory settings? Actually, this thing comes stock at 710. Ah, okay, it should be able to run that. Alright. Ooh. Wait, could I be... No, I actually labeled the memory slot specifically so that wouldn't happen, so... I have no idea why it's having a problem. What the hell? 230? Okay, well, let's do this. 235. I do actually want 2500 working, so... I don't think... At this rate, I don't think I'm actually going to be able to get past... Oh, this BIOS. Get past the... What was it? Get past 6.5 gigahertz anyway, so I don't really mind that I'm going to run low FSB, so... Please work now. Oh, there. Yeah, so maybe too much FSB for how cold it was. I don't know. Oh, no. What the hell? Okay. Cooling quiet's disabled. Let's see. Quick. Should... Okay, wait. Oh, this motherboard does let you configure the memory timings per channel, so that's great. Wait, 27... 10? I'm gonna try load up the XMP timings for this. It really shouldn't be that difficult. Ambient, I was having no problem running 2500. Like, no problem earlier today, so... Okay, you know what? I'll just do it this way. Load basics. Bands frequency. Oh, let's see if that works. Okay, looks like that's working. Yeah, okay. So that's 5.6 gigahertz. That's like zero progress, though. Seriously? What the hell? Like, that was just Windows startup. Is the... I mean, this is not a great chip, but I'd expect it to be doing better than this. That's not working. There we go, so 5.4 boots. I mean, it's not impossible that this CPU couldn't do more than 5.4, but that would be kinda depressing, to say the least. Looks like EasyTune might actually work if it ever finishes loading. The overclocking profile is going to restore to default. Okay. Oh, look! The garbage works! Perfect. So I wonder if the motherboard just doesn't have a oh, that might be it. It just doesn't, like... Or might not be. At 1.8. Seriously? Just hangs like that? Okay. Or I could... Well, I guess I'll just try a... That's ridiculous. Let's see, so I just want to run... I'll try that. 26 by 235. $23 and then... No. Actually, no. Let's do a 12, 9, 12, 9, 12, 9. It's minus 30 now. Huh, so I guess... Well, we'll see if it gets all the way to Windows even. Okay, so that's Windows. Wonder if I ever actually took this motherboard cold. I did! I don't remember it being this obnoxious. Admittedly, I wasn't trying to overclock all 8 cores at the same time. Easy Tune now actually works without cool and quiet, so that's great. So I can't use the two. What the hell? You're a stupid motherboard. Okay, so that crashes instantly. That's great, isn't it? What a pile of garbage. And I need to get more LN2 again. So I definitely can't use EasyTune to do anything at all. Let's see, 24 configuration. Oh, that's not posting again. Why can't anything ever work? Oh, there we go. Now it posted. No, don't go into the NVIDIA OS. Oh no, that's the Asus OS, or whatever. Don't go there. Oops. Oh, that's great. I got ice. That's really not good. Got snow in, like, the memory sockets. Come on, please. Well, okay, so, obviously, if that happens again, that would be a problem. So, I'm just gonna put something over the memory. Because apparently falling snow is a real hazard right now, so... Please. No, it's posting. Okay. I wonder if it might not just have a problem with being really, really cold. Because right... Right, I actually can't use EasyTune to do anything, so I don't know why I'm opening it. Ugh. And goodbye, garbage. Okay, so... Nope, that's... Oh. I might have AMD Overdrive, which, as awful as that utility is, might be enough to tweak the multiplier and the FSB without having to... No. No, I don't. Great. Oh, I do. There we go. So we'll just use Overdrive. It's terrible and awful, and the only reason why I'd ever use it is to check temperatures, but, well, whatever that weird temperature margin thing is AMD has. And unlike EasyTune, it might actually work. Installing Overdrive at minus 140. Finish. Okay. Okay. Well, it didn't crash instantly, so that already tells that's progress. And I can tweak memory settings in here, but it's not what I have it for. Okay, I can change turbo core. Do I have FSB? Should have access to that. Oh yeah, I do. Enable. Okay. Oh, it only goes up to 24? How stupid is this? Oh, and it set the voltage. Oh, gigabyte! Why? Why can't you have a utility that doesn't suck? Okay, let's just gonna touch, like, I'm not gonna try change the multiplier because obviously that seems to be causing it to die instantly. You know, I do remember having to use this to get like almost 8 gigahertz on this motherboard, so I don't know why it's having such huge issues right now. Okay, we're currently at 235, 23, now we're at 2424, so, no, hangs instantly. Freaking hell! So I have to do absolutely everything from the BIOS. Well, that's perfect, isn't it? That tweaks the memory, so that would probably cause a crash. Yeah, damn thing's not recovering. So that's... This shouldn't really be that hard. I know the freaking LN2 pot is making contact because everything is freezing. Yeah, so it's great. Well, I need to reset the BIOS. This is not going to work. Hello, what is with that second cursor? What the hell was that? Okay, so last known good. Please work. Nope, that's not going to work. Ugh. I wonder if just all the cores except like the first module on this 9590 just suck completely. Because that seems to like right now makes the most sense to me. Okay, so that's great. hangs completely after one of those. Oh. Yay, back in the BIOS we are. Maybe. No, we aren't. Okay. Wiping the BIOS. There. There we go. Now it works again. Frequency settings. And I'm just gonna go and do 2 cores. And see if this'll boot. That. Because it should be able to do that with just 2 cores at the voltage it's at. Because it might just be a case of all my cores except 2 suck. Looks like that might actually be the case. Please don't. Well, damn. Eight cores and I only have two that actually work. Lovely. Absolutely freaking lovely. Are we even at 6 gigahertz? Now it's going to tell me we're at like... No, we are actually at 6 gigahertz with 2 cores. Lovely. So why can't it do that? Will this now work? If this now also works, then I will be amazed. Holy crap. Look. Everything works as soon as I turn off most of the CPU. What the hell's the point of that? The hell am I supposed to do with an FX 9590 that can't run 8 cores? The fuck is the point? What the hell? Yay, we can do 27. 6.2 gigahertz. Oh no, 6. CPU-Z, are you drunk? CPU-Z's drunk, or EasyTune is drunk. One of the two. I'm kind of suspecting EasyTune doesn't know what it's doing. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if CPU-Z also. You know, it's fine. So, 240. So I guess I can't control the multiplier or something. But I can tweak the FSB. That still works. You're awesome. I love you. I love you, 9590. You're the best CPU ever. He's getting sold tomorrow. Useless pile of garbage chip. Well, I guess I can run Unigine Heaven with 2 cores. Okay. I actually wonder how that'll perform, because Heaven is really, really low thread count. So it shouldn't actually have to it shouldn't complain about not having most of the CPU available. Let's see, max that, fixed, max. So I remember, so earlier today I tested the system, it was getting like 3K in Unigine. Of course, disable your tessellation, so override, off. Oh. It's not fair. Why does everything I have suck or break? Why can't the sucky things break and the good things work? Okay, so let's go Unigine. Admittedly, I need to I think the memory's back to, like, crappy settings, but... Do it! You can... This is normal. It's fine. There we go. Now it's running, and this is also normal. Yeah. So the trick to this is now I'm going to get out. Oh, and I clocked the GPU too high. So the first time you load up Unigine, it just does that on AMD cards. So, 60. There. Now it should run properly. Should being the key word. That's still normal. There we go. Pulling just under 2 amps at the wall. It's actually not running too bad. I don't remember seeing a 200 FPS earlier today, so... I wonder if I could run it in... No, I couldn't, because most of the cores suck. Ugh. I guess 7 gigahertz on 2 cores is the way to go. Oh, wait. Benchmark crashed. Damn it. Okay, well, that's... Okay, yeah, that's normal. That's not a problem. I wonder if I can enable 2 more cores. Maybe it's just the second half of the CPU that's useless. That'd be convenient. Or maybe the motherboard's not holding voltage with all 8 cores, but I doubt that. 2, 4. That should still help Unigine, but I'm not sure at that point. You know what, I'll just run the card stock, because I still think there's a CPU bottleneck. Oh, it looks like Trix just loaded up its settings. Nope. Nah, I will. I can't stop myself. At least extra 100 megahertz on the core clock. Heaven, here we go. Actually, well... It says 6.1 gigahertz right now. Isn't it? Yeah, it's 6.1. So I'll run it at 6.1 and then I'll worry about tweaking it further. To do something about that random spill effect it gets. You know what, I'll just let it deal with that. I think that's an OS issue. Oh, there. So I need to beat 4.2K or 4.3K. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I get 4.2K, all is good. Well, the FPS hasn't gone up. So I'm going to take it that 2 cores is enough. I need to get another fill of LN2. I mean, it's not really burning off that, getting that hot right now, but I do need more juice, so let that finish. And Yeah, Heaven's really not that heavy on the CPU, even though it does need a decent overclock to get good FPS. It's too bad it takes 4 minutes to finish. Other than that, it's one of my favorite benchmarks. What? Oh, no. Scene transition, I thought it crashed. Alright, I can't scroll through the chat, otherwise it scrolls in the stream. Well, this is not going to crash at 6 gigahertz, so I'm just going to chill and read questions. So if anybody has any questions right now, you can ask them, because Heaven isn't really that intense for me when the GPU can do it on its own. Huh? Okay, just a scene transition. I really hope the score doesn't suck because of all those H's, because from my experience, trying to fix Heaven is a nightmare. Because, like, I had one other system that would just hitch, and the only way I eventually got it to stop hitching was to just reinstall the entire operating system for it. And actually, that one was only hitching at the start. It wasn't even as bad as this. Three more scenes to go. Please, like, if this just spits out a nice score, I'll be so happy. Because then I can go back to fighting with the 9590 that sucks. .8K. Well, that's useless. The last score. Oh, so somebody else did Heaven at 6.3 gigahertz, whereas I'm at 6.1. Well, I obviously need more gigahertz then. Okay. Let's go 240. Yeah, there we go. Just under 6.3 gigahertz. I'll go for it. Oh, got warm again. Well, at least I know the Fury X was fine. It's just the system that's garbage. Ah, looks like it picked up another 10 FPS. From from the extra core clock. Well, CPU clock. It's hitching a lot less too, so that's nice. You know what? I am gonna do a little teaser. Look what I got. And no motherboard for it. Sucks. Yep. Ta-da! Retail. Actually, I'm pretty surprised with like the size of the cooler that AMD packs with these. Like, it's bigger than the old 95 watt cooler they had. It's not the Wraith, but it is bigger than what they used to ship FX chips with. Which is, actually, let's get in there. Yeah. And it's not a huge amount larger. Just a little bit. And did it crash? No, that's just that transition. The temperature's holding up fine. I might end up having to use this because I don't actually have any mounting hardware for AM4 as of right now. So, well, actually I don't have a spare cooler to use for AM4. Oh yeah, and for those who are wondering, this is warm again. Whoops. Don't crash. Okay, that's just that transition. There we go, and there's the chip. So, yeah, I got Ryzen. Too bad I don't have a motherboard for it. And heaven is just about to finish, as we are on scene. Well, 5 more scenes to go. Oh, the Ryzen sticker? I've already used it. It's on the big test bench already. So yeah, and for those who are wondering, yeah, I have the R7 1700, not the 1700X. That was too expensive. Well, the score barely went up at all, so that's great. Oh well. I'll still save this because obviously it's going to be more difficult than I thought it would be to get a good score in that. Nope, I don't need those twice. I need CPU Z twice. Make a screenshot. Save. 9590 dash. There we go. Save that. And I think it needs a overclock. on the GPU again, so go 1130 by 550. Retune. I'm going to pull it all the way down again, because I've been hovering it around minus 120 for that last run. And I don't really want to run extra voltage for the next one, so... Because already half the chip sucks. I don't need to break the other 4 cores as well. Actually, I think I'll get a second thermos for this run. Whoop. Okay, let that cool down a bit. Kind of wish I had a heavier LN2 pot for this, because this thing, like, it goes up and down too fast. Like, just sitting like that, it loses temperature really quick. Go. I have plenty for at least one more run of Unigen, assuming the GPU doesn't give up again. So, this app is so dumb. I do believe I was at 422, so I'll try 245 this time. Yeah, so I'm 242. Apply that. Yeah, so 6.369. This point, I'm actually clocked, well, about the same actually. Let's go 250. There we go, 6.5 gigahertz, and actually I'll give it extra voltage for that. This is the sort of all-in. I don't think it's really going to go much further than this. There we go. What the hell? Did it crash? No! Why would you do that? You were so close! That was so damn close, but well, that was a GPU crash, so this is not exactly the best ever Fury. Well, yeah, it's not really a great Fury card, this one here. Just like in terms of luck on the Silicon Lottery, this one's pretty bad. And now it's dead. Yep. Problem has been detected. No way, you don't say. It froze. You know what? I'm wondering if... I mean, it probably won't work because evidently one of the cores, but this right here is like... well, wait. That there basically disables... basically means that you stop having the 2 cores in a module sharing resources thing on AMD chips. But I wonder if that'll work. Maybe if I'm lucky it's just 1 core in 1 module that's terrible and everything else is fine. But that would be that would be surprising. Because that would actually mean this wouldn't be too bad for Unigine. Because Unigine being mostly single-threaded would benefit from running with 1 core in each module instead of, you know, 2 cores in 2 cores in 2 modules, which gives you 4 cores total. So 4 modules, 4 cores should work better. Should do better for the same clocks. It should perform better. I'm kind of tempted to swap the Fury X back in. Because since it's not the... You know what? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swap the Fury X back in. Because it looked like I sort of got beyond the CPU bottleneck once I was well above 6 gigahertz. So... some extra GPU power wouldn't really be wouldn't really be missed. Well, would be useful. I don't really know what I was trying to say there. Go! Back into storage you go. Oh. Here comes this disaster of a card. Oh. Actually, I'm pretty happy with my job on repairing this. I blew up one of the V-core capacitors by accidentally putting a short on top of it, because I didn't bother to check if my soldering work was clean or not, and assumed that, you know, there's no way I'm going to short a ceramic capacitor, those things are freaking huge. But it didn't actually kill the card or anything, just broke that one capacitor, so... took that one off, and it still runs. It's not even unstable. I mean, it is just one capacitor out of the giant bank for V-core. But... kind of unfortunate. The smoke was kind of terrifying when it first fired up and got that short circuit. I thought I'd screwed up like something much more serious, because I did have to remove like every single capacitor that was on there, because they... like, I did this was one of the first cards I did a capacitor mod on, and my soldering was just terrible. Like, it all came off. So I decided to redo all of them, and that's why actually the stream was delayed. I spent several hours working on that. And I fixed the V-core, and a bunch of other issues on that card, so... yeah. Also changed out the mounting system for the GPU core and all that. So actually, I've been meaning to check if the temperature hasn't gotten screwed up because of that. So, let me just quickly do a check on that. Where's Sapphire? No, I want that. Just want to check that it, like, what kind of temperatures it's getting. Because I did, like, replace the mounting system completely with something that puts a lot less pressure on there. Because the normal way that the mounting... like, the Fury X has this like, well, it's not stupid. It works. But this is a nightmare to apply if you're doing it by hand, because the amount of force you need to put down on the arms to bend them down is ridiculous. So I'm pretty sure I broke one of my cards reinstalling that, and so I want to check that this card is thermally okay after I, you know, remove that bracket. Looks good so far. It's 29 degrees. I don't think... Is the fan maxed out? It's not even maxed out. Admittedly, the GPU is not actually fully loaded because the FX is just bottlenecking so hard. Yeah. Praise the FX 9590. Can't even run Unigine. Well, more like the Fury X is too fast for it. If I had a slower card, it actually wouldn't be that bad, but a slower card, like a lot slower card, so... Oh well, I trust the card. It didn't look too bad. And where's Tricks? There it is. Can pin that. Nope. 50, 550. I don't really want to listen to... This is admittedly still like 75% fan speed on a Fury X really isn't that bad, but... Oh well, I'll have to put up with the coil whine. So that's going to make me regret switching to this card anyway, but... Let's get this set up to actually run benchmarks. See, so we're at 6.1 gigahertz. I let it get warm again, which is why I'm pulling it down right now. It was at minus 120-ish, and I wanted it sort of minus 150. Okay, so we're at 26, 235. I want 242, and I won't run it above 242 for now. Yes! Okay, so 4 cores. Yeah, so we're just under 6.3 gigahertz again. And the reason why I'm just under 6.3 gigahertz is I want to see if I don't actually get more performance with, like, if it doesn't score better just because of the modules instead of full cores. And actually, I pressed the wrong thing for that. Let's see, we're at minus 44. GPU set up, CPU set up. I said let's rock and roll. Minus 65, 165, and stuttering like crazy again. Oh, what the hell? Yeah, capture card went out. I noticed. I'm seeing it. I'll go take care of it. It's really not supposed to be doing that. Well, that's not good at all. So here's the problem, okay? If I try to do anything to that capture card now, it'll crash my system. It just does that. I have no idea why it does that. Also, that's not pleasant to watch. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. The benchmark's still running, it's just not displaying properly. That's not gonna work. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish the benchmark blind. Because once it switches display modes, it should come back. I'm gonna wait for it to do that because I'm hoping for a good score here. I'll deal with whatever the issue with the stream is later. Up. Takes 4 minutes to finish, damn it. Assuming that it does manage to finish at this point, because that might not actually even happen. Nope. I have no idea what part of the benchmark it was at when it dropped, well, when it started having issues, so I'm kind of guessing if it's still running here. Temperature seems to be going up fast enough for it to be running, so... Like, if the GPU crashes, then that's a problem, because I won't know about it, but... It really shouldn't with the settings I set it to. Definitely running. I mean, well, I can't actually say definitely. Starting to think this is taking too long. It's not even plugged into it at this point. Oh no, that's... Well, that's a problem, isn't it? But the run could be good. I can do another run. There's no point trying to bench blind. What the hell? Is the cable broken? You've got to be kidding me. I don't have another 3-meter HDMI. The cable might actually be broken. You've got to be... Of all the things to break, why the freaking cable? This is what I get for yesterday saying that this was going to be easy, or that it's going to go well, or that it's not going to be the usual rolling catastrophe of this doesn't work, that doesn't work. If this random thing that definitely, you know, would never ever break, yeah, that's not going to work either. There we go. Freaking cables. I really don't get. Where is that port? Please work. Damn it. Okay, I give up. There we go. Finally plugged in a new cable. Oh, and this won't boot now. The hell? Oh, yeah, the HDMI cable stopped working. I'm gonna freaking kill somebody with the damn cable. HDMI cable stopped working. This is a freaking circus. Yeah, we're totally gonna get some scores when the cables stop breaking. When the 8-core CPU can actually run all 8 cores, but it does look like there's only one core that's absolutely trash on it, so that's nice, I guess. Well, we're just gonna have to resort to the good old point the webcam at the screen because nothing works. And I'm just gonna route this through here. Ta-da! Oh. There, and you can of course see absolutely nothing because webcams suck at recording monitors. I'll try to tweak that quickly. There. You can sort of see what's going on. Well, now I can't sit here, so this is gonna not be ideal. There. It's the setup. Actually, in this setup, I can actually show you temperatures. Maybe. Oh, right, there's a fan on that. Don't want a cable near that. This has like Asus went and gave this being the OC panel, this little kickstand, except this kickstand sucks. Absolutely sucks. Like it's springy. It doesn't lock in or at all, so it's just I never have it standing up because I don't trust this thing to stay standing up. floppiest little... And you still can't see it. There we go. You can just about see the temperature. And it's at minus 105. And I won't have to tell you what temperature it's at. Minus 140. There. Wonder if I can get more light here, because I do actually have like a lot of... well, it kind of helps a little bit. So, yeah, that's great, I know. At least the stream's not down. It's probably the only way it could get worse. Well then, I'll set it back up for the run and get Unigine done. I'll just set it to 240. 1.85, 1.74 on the memory. Close that, and time to go for it. Also, this temperature probe is off by a few degrees. Probably, because, well, I need to get some, like, properly calibrated thermometers. Because this works in a pinch, but it's not great, and my other thermometer, like, I can't, like, it's calibrated to read at to read LN2 properly, but then it doesn't read, like, warmer temperatures properly. It underreports those instead. So, yeah, it's actually running, no, that might be the Fury X at this point. But it's getting more FPS. Well, I guess I gotta get a different 9590 if I want to go for the rest of that competition. Because this CPU evidently isn't, like, it did Cinebench at what, 5.6? On 8 cores. I mean, I didn't really max the voltage out, but I really don't want to. I mean, 1.9 is not really that huge a problem for FX chips. It's just, I've already degraded this one a little bit, and I don't really want to degrade it more, but admittedly it did spend probably an hour above 2 volts. I hate when it does that, like you pour in, and then as the LN2 starts boiling, it boils so fast that it actually, like, shoots up and screws up the pour. Better to, yeah. There's a few really jarring transitions in Unigine, so... Oh, and you can't see the... Well, you couldn't see the FPS even if I pointed you at the monitor proper, so... Doesn't really matter at this point. That's normal. That's the corridor. Then it'll hitch again. There we go. It's getting almost 250 FPS in that area. That Fury X is helping a lot. Two more scenes to go. Please give me a score that's worth all of the work. There we go. Oh, see, that's 4K 50. Damn it. What am I running the memory at? That's probably eating into the score, because with, like... I mean, it's not terrible. Whatever, I'll save this. This is not too bad. It's not as high as I'd like it to be, but it's third, so... Not the worst score I could have made. And I'll still tweak it a few more megahertz on the CPU, and we'll see if I can pick up a few more points, but... Kinda doubt it. It's annoying. I can't even beat an R9 390 with this. Facts, 9590. Save. And a bit more FSB. And try run it. I mean, I almost got it to run 6.5 gigahertz, so I could try that again. No, not memory. Yeah, 6.5, let's go for it. Really warm again. I'll need to get another fill up of LN2, and you know what, I'll get it all the way to full pot at this point, because I'm really sick and tired of the constant dodgy pouring. There we go. can just pour continuously because it stopped boiling off so fast. There. Ah, shit. Damn it, spilled it. Got my thumb with it a little. There we go, that's full. That should last me one whole run. Temperature is nice and cold. There we go. This is going to be a long 4 minutes. Oh, it just crashed. Well, damn it. So I see there's somebody asking about LN2 pots on the chat. And basically my thoughts on it are buy a good one to start with, because if like the cheapest pot, like this thing was 250 euro, and that's the Der Bauer Fusion. And if you're buying something like, I think the cheapest pots are like 50 euro. So, you know, I don't know. I don't feel like it's really worth saving on something that, like LN2 pots don't get worse over time. Also, you should check out if you can't get any for second hand, because there's usually some pretty good deals on those. Right, well, okay, so Unigine just crashed, and I decided I want to give up on that, so time to see if the 8 cores work any better with a full pot than with a mostly empty one. Go. Two, automatic. Memory I'll leave as is. 1.92. Stupid pile of garbage. I will make you work. Okay, I guess I won't. Yeah, that's not going to work. hope I managed to reset the BIOS. Oh. Oh, competition background. Damn it. Where is that even? Where's that flash stick? Whatever, I guess I'll just have to redo Unigine. BIOS. Oh well, since I'm going to be redoing Unigine all over again, I guess I'll do it better this time. Where's that? I really like Gigabyte's boot last known good option. That's literally the best part of Gigabyte, like pretty much the only good part of a Gigabyte BIOS. Everything else is terrible. Yeah, so it's back in one core, so it's gonna be nice and easy. 240. That's not gonna work. Actually, that should work. 235. Tweak the memory a little bit. There we go. Got the competition background. So actually, I won't have to mess around with anything once I get into the OS, because I did just set it up to boot 6.42 gigahertz. But it really does look like there's one core on this CPU that's just absolutely atrocious. Is it not picking it up? Okay. Save. Well, actually, I want to just check with CPU-Z that the core is actually at the settings I want. It is at 6.42, so wrong benchmark. Gen. I wish I had left the, like... I wish I had the right BIOS on this card. See, I wonder if I might not have that on my flash stick. If I do... Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't. Oh, well. Because this card can run 600 HBM if I had it on a high HBM voltage BIOS, but I don't have that BIOS on hand. So that's not happening. Anyway, I need more LN2. Go. Close that. Run. Somebody asked about me uploading a... Yeah, I have that BIOS on my hard drive. I can upload it whenever. Just keep forgetting to do that. Actually, about that BIOS, I need to thank Gubsterg for making it, because I'm not actually that great at BIOS modding. He actually knows how to, like, add extra things into the BIOS. I'm only capable of changing what's already there, so he added a whole extra section to make it possible to change the HBM voltage on the Fury X BIOSes. Well, I'm gonna go fill up the other thermos because that is chewing through more LN2 than I expected. Go. I'm surprised this is still running, considering how long I've had it under LN2 for. So usually my insulation gives up. Not very good. Well, I don't know. I think I must have gotten better at insulation over time, because it used to be that it would give up in like an hour to 2. Though it is winter here, so it could be a little bit less damp. But then the UK... It's dry when it's a good day when there's only puddles outside instead of actual rain. Ooh. There we go. I really hope now I have the highest score. Well, I don't really think I would have magically picked up an extra 100 points, but... Holy yes! Yeah! Okay, now I actually need to... Okay, how far behind am I? Yes! I beat him by 30 points! Yes! 4150. Ta-da! Ta-da! Okay, at least I'm first. It took an HDMI cable swap and way too much time, but at least I'm first in one of the benchmarks. It's too bad there isn't a SuperPi stage, because then I just have to learn how to actually tweak for SuperPi and run SuperPi on my Phenom 2, because that thing is a beast. actually, yeah, there's a GPU Pi stage, which is a multi-core benchmark, so I can't actually do anything in that because the CPU sucks. But at least 4 of the cores work well enough. Okay, so actually no, I don't want that. Make screenshot, save result. FX 9590. Save. Boom. Actually, where did that save it to? Let me just check. Oh, it didn't save it to here. Well, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? No, 9590. Heaven. Save. Oh, it's because, oh right, the date on this thing is broken, so all gonna be, there we go. Heaven. There. That's the latest one. Good. So those are now saved. Time to do Cinebench, since this thing is, so I've taken first place for Unigine. Admittedly, I'll probably not stay in first place because there's still 26 more days to go in that competition. But maybe in 26 days I can acquire a less terrible FX 9590 or some other 8-core. Not really sure where to go with like the settings for the next benchmark. I guess I'll just boot 5.6, max out the memory, because this thing is so awful that I'll need it. Nope. Advance. Automatic. Disable. C1E disable. Why was C1E enabled? Could that have been causing the stutters? Oh, damn it, why is my basics profile so terrible? Okay, well, whatever. So, let's see. That's 5.7. And I need... Right. I'm gonna tune the memory for 2500. Damn it. No. At least now I can keep track of the temperature by just listening to if there's LN2 boiling or not. Make my life a lot easier. Actually, that's not going to work. Advanced voltage settings, 1.85. North bridge is as high as it'll go. Advanced, nope. Advanced memory. 8, 12, 8, 28. 12, 8, 28. Save and exit. Damn. Pretty sure I dropped the CPU clock. I wish that instead of having like a last known good, they had last boot it, like last save and exited settings. Like it would auto save you a profile when you exit the BIOS, because that would make my life a lot easier in terms of recovering shitty overclocks. I used to sort of do that with the safe boot, but the thing about safe boot is just like you have to actually do it yourself, which is annoying. And yeah, and they don't really include the safe boot button on enough motherboards as far as I'm concerned. The Aura just has a it has a header for it, so you can actually get at it, but it's a pain. And things like and then other than that, it's all ROG boards that have it, so expensive to have that feature. Yeah, boot failure detected. What? No, but it's only 5.4. What the hell? 7.5. Okay, I'll back off the front. I'll back off the FSB a little. Try higher core clock, because I can always raise the FSB once I'm in the OS, but if I can't get to the OS, then that's kind of useless. Somebody... There we go. Back in the OS we are. Okay, so 2500 doesn't seem to want to work. Oh, I remember. I needed like a stupid amount of Northbridge voltage. Yeah. Oh well. It's on LN2. It can't really get any worse at this point. So, voltages... Actually, wait. Also going to crank that one up. HT link. Can't remember what I actually like needed for the Northbridge to boot 25. Like I know it ran 2500 when I was testing the motherboard, so I know it's capable of that, but and it just crashed again. So that's great. Good job, board. I mean, good job, FX9590. I guess I'll loosen up the timings a little. Maybe if I set that to 13, it'll have less of a problem. Oh, right, actually this kit doesn't do 8.12.8, it does 8.13.8 on Intel for 2600. But I shouldn't need to have it that loose here, so I don't know. Okay. Let's see CPU-Z. If it can't open CPU-Z, it can't run Cinebench, so... Okay, so that works. We're at 5.4 gigahertz. Let's see how miserable a score this gets. You know what's depressing about 5.4 gigahertz at minus 172? There's CPUs that can do this on water cooling. This exact clock. This one can't do it at minus whatever the hell it's at. I'm gonna try use PS check. Also, I don't know why it keeps doing that weird where it shuts down and it won't boot up again. I might be going over the power limit. That just seems a little bit odd. Yeah, I know, it hangs at random all over the place, so I don't think that's it. Damn it. It's empty. Oh, oops. Ah, damn it, I wanted to get into the freaking BIOS. Yeah, okay. So, let's see. I'll boot in, and I know the first 2 cores on this CPU are good, so I'll pull those up. Yeah, I'll boot in. I'll set 235 FSB. Actually, no, I don't know how to set custom clocks in PS Check, so we'll have to figure that out. Well, figuring out how to use PS Check properly at this point is going to be a thing, so... Because the main problem is I can't run all the cores at the top speed. So I'm going to leave... Whichever core in that CPU sucks is just going to be sitting at like 5 gigahertz or something. Which actually the whole module has to, because there's a... That's just how the clock works on this, but yeah. Oh well, here we go. All cores down. Right now it's at 5.1 gigahertz. Wonder if EasyTune will crash the moment. Right, EasyTune is allergic to cool and quiet. Man, I hate this freaking software. Oh, why is it not crashing now? What the fuck? Well, I mean, it works for me. I'm actually happy that it's not crashing for once. Yeah, works. Why does it now work? Why didn't it work the entire time before? What the hell changed? I'm happy it works. It's progress right there. So we're at 5.1 gigahertz right now. Oh. Can I lock the power state? There has to be a way to do that. Okay, so that's how I can control the frequency. Okay, cool. So this one's 22. And that translates to 5 gigahertz, so that's 25x. And I want 23x, so I want everything set to 19. No. Oh. Oh, well, I can't set it above. Okay, so... OX 19, so... What? .9? Oh, it's... hex. Right. It's gonna go 1A, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. 4.9. 4.8. So I'm going to set all the different power states to different frequencies, different multipliers, with the highest power state being 25x, and the lowest one being like, well, however many I can set, so there. And then I'm going to go basically and start at the low multiplier, then I'm going to raise the first 2 cores, then the next 2 cores, then the next, yeah, so I'll just clock it all unbalanced like 1F. Actually, yeah, okay. So that's 1F, 1E, 1, no, that's 0D, 1D, and I want 1C. What? Why is this one stuck so low? Okay, I get it. The lowest power state is always going to suck. Okay, I'm probably going to have to set Windows to high performance mode. I will get this working. Eventually. Processor minimum. Minimum processor state, 100%. There, done. So now, I can clock the cores up and down as I wish. Yeah, yes I can. Haha. So there we go. So now I have 2 cores at 5 point... Okay, so now I actually want to know how that performs. There we go. I mean, I don't really... I wanted to configure the frequencies, but obviously I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So... right, we're at 226. I'm gonna... Okay, I'm gonna drop... Okay, I know the first 2 modules are pretty good, so I'm gonna keep those synchronized. And then it's one of these 2 that sucks. So I'm gonna drop those for now. And let's bring up that base clock. And now it's gonna crash instantly. And yes, it made it! So we have 5.4 gigahertz on 4 cores, and the other ones are somewhere. I don't know. Where are they? 4.7. Okay. Close that. Because I won't be playing with that any longer. And... where's Cinebench? Actually, I should be able to... let's see. Pull that up. Now we got 5.3 on that. Really wish I knew how to change these. But whatever. We'll see if... we shall see if it's the last module that's bad, then this will find it. Because it'll either crash now or it won't. Okay, well it crashed, so I guess it is. Now it could always be that power... I really hope that the motherboard doesn't actually have a power limit, but always a chance. Always a chance. Wait, there we go. Let's see. No, I can still switch power states, so I'll just put everything down to a point. Right. Nah, actually I'll run that first. And we're currently at, should be at 5.1. Okay, that crashed instantly. I'm going to say that I still have memory errors. Oops, missed my chance to get in the BIOS. Energy drink's too warm. I'm gonna freeze it on the LN2 pot. Let's see. Not really getting a whole lot colder. Yeah, not really. Go. Let that smoke off for a bit. I really don't get it. I did get a run in at like... really wish I had somebody else to fill up the LN2 for me. Is this... it's not smoking enough. Okay, let's go straight for Cinebench. Pray that it works. Nope. The reason... Is this still? No, the GPU is still running. Yeah, see, that's why I'm suspecting the system of, the motherboard of having a power limit kick in. Because if you've ever seen an overcurrent protection kick in, how it works is the VRM for the CPU just shuts down randomly, and that's the end of that. Which basically means your GPU keeps running, which, if you look at the radiator, that's still going. So the GPU is obviously still going. The PSU, yeah, there's air going through the power supply, so there's still power going to the power supply. What else? I mean, I don't actually have voltage readings hooked up, so I can't actually check anything on the motherboard. I'm pretty sure there's a power limit that I'm hitting. Because, yeah, the system is just hanging. Which would, like, align with the whole hitting the power limit and the CPU getting cut off from juice. In which case, I need to figure out a way to disable the motherboard's power limit. Which I don't think Gigabyte actually put an option in here, so that idiots wouldn't break the board. Because if this had no power limit on ambient cooling, that VRM would go up in flames pretty quick, because it's not really that great. It's not bad, it's usable, but you know, there's better boards out there. Huh. I wonder, what happens if I enable Extreme LLC? Do you think it disables the power limit? In which case I'm going to have to run a lot less voltage because it overvolts like crazy. And I don't actually know what voltage it'll be at once we get into the OS, but... And I'll go get some extra LN2 because you can probably tell the temperature's gone up quite a bit. Well, it's not posting, so that's already not a great sign. Maybe I should just go buy another CPU and try that. I mean, I could also swap motherboards, but at this point it's kind of too late to do that. And admittedly, for Cinebench, not having the memory working properly is not really a huge issue, but that's the main problem. The only other board I have is a Asus 970 Pro Gaming Aura for AM3 Plus, and that hates my memory sticks. So, because I can't get it to clock at all on those. Well, can't get the RAM to basically do anything. You know, this motherboard can pass Cinebench at 5 GHz. I've done that. At ambient temperature, though. I really don't know why it's having so much trouble right now. You know, it could also be the power supply, which... Because I had one Asus board complaining about this power supply to me. But I think that was more the Asus board's sensors were just starting to go after all the abuse I put it through, but it's worth trying. So I'll cut the power on this, and we'll swap to the 550 watt power supply. That'll totally power an FX 9590. Totally. It shouldn't really be too much of a problem, but it's less than ideal. Thing is, I checked this power supply with a multimeter because basically the Asus board was saying that the voltage wasn't correct, and when I checked it, it was fine. So I figured there wouldn't be a problem, but I guess there is. So here goes. Cheapo 550 watt power supply versus FX 9590. This is gonna be great. Like, this thing has, yeah, this, I wouldn't want to run a Fury X on this. Well, not overclocked. Stock it would be fine, but overclocked, that'd be a problem. So, this would definitely not do Unigen. Look at this setup. See? And... oh, that was... okay, wait, I still need to hook up the SSD. Where's that SATA branch? There it is. Whoops. Actually, I'll pull this end. Up. Stand up. And... well, it hasn't exploded instantly, so that's... and which one was the power button? There. Minus 127. Well, it's not posting any faster, is it? Oh. Still has the same issue by the looks of it, so it might really just be the CPU or the motherboard at this point. Oh well. Not the worst problem to have. If the power supply was bad, I'd be annoyed. Because that thing's really expensive. The board and the CPU, not really. Yeah, so this is just not going to work. Well, you know what? I say let's just pack it up, because at this point I'm not getting this going any faster. I'll be lucky to get this to boot. So, yeah. Ta-da! That was a stream. You know, that was totally a great way to spend your Saturday afternoon, night. I don't know. This would be night, right? Yeah, this would be a great way to spend your Saturday night. Let me just fix the exposure again. Oh, that's a bit problematic. There we go. So yeah, Alright, that's still on. So, yeah. Oh, there's LN2 in this. I'm just gonna go dump this in there and... Go. So yeah, so basically, today, everything broke. Like, the stream card, I'm not sure. The HDMI cable I was running, not also entirely sure if that completely gave up or not. The motherboard, the 9590, not sure which one. I don't know. I could... you know what? I straight up don't know which one's broken, not working right now. The motherboard really might have a power limit problem, in which case I can go fix that. That's not too hard. Actually, no, that's going to be a nightmare. Let me check. IR3564. Actually, no, I have my... Yeah, I'll just check the review I made of this board. And we'll see what component it uses for its VRM. And then I'll decide if it's worth volt modding or not. 356. No, 990FX. Oh, somebody asked if I want their Steam library shared. Sure, I guess. But the thing about me not benchmarking games is, like, one, I don't have any games. Two, I really don't want to benchmark them either. It's just a pain to do it. It's just so annoying. So much work. Now that's the BIOS section. There we go, 3564. I was right. It is a 3564. So IR3564. This one should have a public. Yeah, it does. And I hate it. A lot. Yeah, that's gonna suck. All the voltage controllers, why this one? Let's see. I mean, technically... No, that wouldn't work at all. So... Let's see... I guess I could go and, like, try hard mod the power limit. But with this voltage controller, that is such a pain. Oh, and also there's the doublers in this thing. That makes my life absolutely perfect. Well, another option would be to just completely bypass the entire V-Core VRM and put an E-Power on it, but that's a terrible idea. That's... Also, the E-Power doesn't go that high on the V-Core, so that'd be a bit of a problem. Oh well. That sucks. Okay, so... No, I mean, the reason... Okay, so why I won't I mean, I had the idea that I would maybe e-power like an MATX AMD motherboard because those are all terrible and it's not really that bad. But, you know what, I'll hook it up to a proper like water cooling loop and try it at ambient and see if I can replicate that same issue at higher voltages. Because I don't know, there might just be something like, because I'm running it on LN2, but if it does the same thing at ambient temperatures, once I raise the voltage above a certain level, then I know for sure that it's a power limit thing. And at that point I might, I guess I will try to tweak the power limit. That's probably the best option. So, yeah, that's lovely. So yeah, that's not happening. Would I put a GTX 960 Strix under LN2 if you sent it in? Let me check if the PCB is like acceptable, because the problem with the main reason I don't like I have an Asus 960 Turbo, which is based off of the 960 Mini PCB, which is like a 4+1 phase VRM and all that. And the reason why I don't really want to do anything to that card is that Asus rebrands the voltage controller, so it's an absolute nightmare to do anything. Let's see. Nope. Oh, it's not rebranded. You know what? Yeah, 960 Strix, I might even do that because the voltage controller is like a UPI thing, so I shouldn't have any trouble finding that. Actually, I can probably Google it right now. Well, not Google it. eBic. Oh, it doesn't exist. God, I love you, Asus. 1608. 16. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Perfect. 608. Yeah. Lovely. So, it's not rebranded, but it has a model number which I can't actually search up. Well, I still haven't tried Google, but it wasn't on the... Oh, somebody did publish it. Perfect. So I could actually do that card. Yeah, sure. I'd be willing to do that one. That there? Yeah, that's a D-War with a lot of well, actually now there's not really that much liquid nitrogen left in there, but there was. And, you know, you can just get the... But that's just air. Well, water, fog, there. That's what it is. Yeah, so about the 960, sure, send me a message on Facebook. I'll take the details up with you there. I don't know, should we just do some questions and answers? Because obviously I'm not getting anywhere with... Well, I'm not going to be doing any more overclocking at this point, because that 9590 sucks. Or the motherboard does, one of the two. Right now, looks pretty tidy. Wait. There, that's how I get it. Well, almost. There. That's what I do for the YouTube videos, and right now it doesn't want to stay up, so... Move my head too fast. So we'll do a Q&A. Actually, I'll put this here. I can see myself. There. So, whoops. Do that for me. So yeah, we'll do a Q&A. Any questions, well, I'll try to give you any, like, answers, so. Yeah. So I got my LN2 supplier. So my LN2 supplier I'm in England. So my LN2 supplier is Mansfield Cryogenics. And I basically sent them an email and was like, hey, I would like LN2 deliveries. And they're like, sure, it's £1 a liter. We deliver to your area every 6 weeks. And so now every 6 weeks I can get both of the DWARs I have filled up, because that's my 30 and there's a 35 off screen. You can't see that one. Next, I won't do a cooking show. I can't cook at all. So, yeah. Max safe daily voltage for Skylake is 1.42 volts, 1.45 or 1.4, depending on which motherboard manufacturer you ask. So, yeah. So, yeah, but I personally think stick to around 1.42, and that's assuming you can actually cool that much voltage. Any tips for DDR3 overclocking? Depending on what you have, so like Sandy Bridge, don't expect it to go much past 2133. Ivy Bridge can go beyond 2400, but it's hard. Haswell can go beyond 2400, but it can lower your CPU overclocking capabilities. I think Haswell really starts having issues at around like 2800 to 3 gigahertz with memory. Other than that, for like voltages, Haswell and Ivy Bridge, you can go pretty much as high as you want. Though, depending on what memory kit you have, it's best to, like, say PSC memory, which is what I use here for the stream today. That is best to have it between sort of 1.8 and 2 volts, depending on what kind of kit you have. Well, 1.95, I've never actually pushed this kit all the way to 2 volts. I pushed it to 1.92. I was getting, like, 2666 almost booting. With 813, 8 timings, so, yeah. And for some of the Samsung ICs, you can absolutely hammer the Samsung sticks with voltage most of the time. The important thing to watch is that some memory kits have if you raise the voltage, you get this effect. You get this frequency curve. Because as they get past a certain point, they actually clock worse and worse. Other than that, memory sticks are really, really, really robust, generally speaking. Especially DDR3, it's really hard to kill the memory sticks, but AM3 plus CPUs and FM2, well, AM3 plus CPUs, I wouldn't really push much above 1.8 volts. For FM2 and FM2 plus, stay below 1.75, because those, the Athlons and all the APUs have really, really weak memory controllers, and I actually have an Athlon over there on the wall, which half the memory controller doesn't work. Like, it's missing the second memory channel because I ran it at 1.85 volts for a little bit too long, and so it gave up one of the memory channels, so, yeah. Yeah, and then there's, yeah. But it really, like, with memory, it really depends, like, what IC you have on how it will behave and clock. There's a lot of, like, some ICs are really, really temperature sensitive, and when you raise the voltage, they just get so hot. Like, they get 10 degrees hotter, and they stop working properly. So, and then, what? Somebody asked about the DDR4 straps past 3000. So, no, it's not that there's... So, Ryzen's memory controller, okay, as of right now, doesn't allow manually changing memory timings, okay? You basically set, like, 266, and everything but your first 4 timings is set by the BIOS. Well, by the CPU. And the CPU doesn't really, like a lot of like Intel platforms do something known as training. So they'll try to boot up and they'll basically figure out what sub timings to run on the memory kit, and then they'll boot up. Ryzen, apparently what it does is it boots and it trains either really, really badly, or it just straight up has like a preset of memory settings that it just loads up and they suck. And so it loads those up, and basically some Samsung ICs work up to 3200, Hynix ICs work up to 2666, and then everything else is apparently completely broken or something like that. So, yeah. And basically, once AMD gives access to the mobile manufacturers to the subtimings, we should be seeing everything running. Well, we should be seeing Ryzen doing anything between 3400 and 3600 pretty easy. But right now, it's just a case of you can't set the subtimings, so a lot of memory sticks won't work because they don't function with the settings that Ryzen tries to boot up. So somebody said, wait, okay, I'll decide which one to do. 711 728. Okay, so one thing about the RAM overclocking, okay? I can overclock RAM, and I can get some impressive clocks out of it. I am not a RAM wizard, okay? I know some guys who know so much about RAM that they could pretty much write a book about it and it'd be this thick. But I'm not really that good at it. I just know enough about RAM overclocking to sort of get around and not be left in the dirt. But I'm not like really, really good at it. So anything more advanced than just like like I don't even remember the different timing names. So that's a bit of an issue. Somebody asked, I got my 480 to 1498 on air. Would a modded BIOS help much, or would it help only for memory? 480 modded BIOS is, if you're doing 1498, what voltage are you at? And are you getting any kind of throttling? That's really, because you basically, the only reason to mod the BIOS is the power limit's too low, and voltage is too low, no. Because you can already set the voltage as high as you could possibly want for daily usage. Somebody asked max safe voltage for Ryzen. So Der Bauer on overclocking.guide recently posted a advanced Ryzen overclocking guide, and he recommends staying around 1.4 volts for Ryzen on ambient cooling. Temperatures, I have no idea. And AMD posted like the PDF for the Ryzen Master program, but there's no actual voltage recommendations in there, so I'm just like, well, that's very useful. So yeah, actually what I plan to do with my Ryzen chip, like actually really what I'd love to do on a Ryzen CPU is get an 1800X, figure out what it automatically turbo boosts its own voltage to. Though the problem with doing that is some motherboard manufacturers screw with the vCore settings. Like Gigabyte on Z270, if you put an i7, it boots at like 1.35 volts or something, which is just like, can you not read the vid that the CPU is actually asking for? Is that so difficult? But hey, so I was thinking, yeah, what I would do is take an 1800X, figure out what's the highest turbo voltage it runs, and then just use that voltage, because obviously it's not that, like, that voltage should be safe, otherwise it wouldn't be part of the stock profile. Though, then the other issue is you have to also, like, that voltage could be assumed that it's safe up to a certain temperature, so, yeah. That's a bit of an issue. Max voltage on Broadwell E, 1.4 volts, but it's really, really hard to cool at that point. So, yeah. AMD's TJ Max. AMD's TJ Max is so low because AMD doesn't use degrees. Like, they're not measuring a temperature. It's some arbitrary AMD temperature unit. You know, so we could call it 75 AMD degrees. Because whatever the hell the sensor is reporting is not an actual temperature. So in reality, they might be getting the similar TJ Max to Intel, which wouldn't be that surprising considering that the, RX 480s have a throttle temperature of 90 degrees, right? That's 90 degrees centigrade is throttle point for an RX 480. But then you look at AMD CPUs and they just have like, what the hell is this? Is this a temperature? No, it's some arbitrary safety system from AMD, which doesn't actually report temperature in degrees. So degrees centigrade or Fahrenheit or any unit known to mankind. And so it ends up that once, you know, various temperature measuring utilities translate it, it translates to like 75 degrees centigrade because, yeah, that makes so much sense. So, yeah. Somebody asked, what's my favorite graphics card? So it's not a Fury card. Mostly because the Furies just have so many issues with them that, like, I've put a lot of time into them and I like them, but as a concept, but there's just so much stuff that doesn't work that they need to get fixed. And so, you know, I can't wait for Vega because Vega will basically be like, oh, you know that test run that we called a Fury X? Yeah, well, now it's working. But I like RX 480s. They're fun to work with. They're really, really fun to push around. They're relatively cheap. But, yeah, I'm not sure, you know. I don't do NVIDIA cards, so obviously it's nothing from there, so, yeah. Max safe voltage for Kaby Lake is the same voltage as Skylake. It's the same damn thing, just tweaked to clock higher. Actually, they tweaked the process a little bit, so it might be a little bit more voltage tolerant, if anything, because apparently they made it big, like less dense. So, yeah. You know what you know what's really funny? I've never held like a premium GPU. Like I've never had a Lightning or a Kingpin or a Classified or well, Matrix or really any of those like really like, you know, the super high-end cards. Never had one. Like probably the nicest card I've had is the RX 480 GTR, which is just kind of ridiculous if you think about it, because all the Fury X's I have those are all reference. The XFX Fury is a reference PCB with a big ass cooler on it. The Tri-X is a same thing as the XFX card. I had a HD 7970 Vapor X, but that's not really like a premium edition. I almost had a HD 7970 Toxic. And actually now if anybody has one of the Toxic cards, I want one. Because that thing is awesome. But, yeah, I've never had like a Lightning or anything, so I don't know what it's like to have a GPU that works. Like, that you don't have to hard mod everything, because there's like Matrix cards have software support for basically every voltage on the card. Lightnings have software voltage support for every voltage on the card. Kingpin cards have voltage support for software support for every voltage on the card. And basically everything I've ever worked with was a case of you can maybe control vCore, and that might be broken. So, yeah. Would I tame an R9 Nano to replace a faulty 290X? I would replace a faulty 290X with a Nano, yeah. So I don't really see why you wouldn't, if depending on how 290X is, how faulty the 290X is. 5850 Toxic. No, I want the HD 7970 Toxic very specifically because it's rare, and like Sapphire built it has a really Sapphire does these really funky VRM layouts, and that's one of the cards where they did that. So, like, that's cool. Somebody asked, how's the VRM on the X370 Prime look to you? Good for OCing on the 1800X. X370 Prime VRM, I have no idea what's under the heatsink, but the heatsinks do have a lot of surface area, so if there's ever a problem, you could probably just point a fan at it. other than that, it's if I remember correctly, it's an 8+4 phase. And, you know, I wouldn't really worry too much about your, like, X370 VRMs until you have, like, a full custom water loop for your CPU. Because that, like, if you had a custom water loop, then you really have an issue of, well, there's not very much airflow around the CPU socket. Admittedly, it's much easier to fit a fan when you don't have a giant heatsink there. But the other thing is custom water loops are actually capable of taking, like, a good custom water loop can handle like 400 watts of CPU heat output. So if you had a good custom water loop, I could see you actually getting to the point where the VRM is the bottleneck instead of the cooling. Which actually on the B350 boards, that shouldn't be really hard to do. So, yeah. I wish I really had more Ryzen chips and motherboards so I could test all this instead of going like, maybe, I think, probably. You'll have to put a fan on it if it doesn't work, but, you know. I don't run marketing departments for hardware manufacturers, so it's not like I can send myself motherboards. Has anyone figured out if Ryzens are binned? Or how? Yeah, I'd like to know that too. I'm not aware of anybody having managed to do that. Custom water loop voltage for 24/7 Haswell E. Yeah, 1.35 volts for Haswell E. Definitely don't go over 1.35 volts for Haswell E. Plus, above 1.35 volts, those things are uncoolable. Literally uncoolable. So, yeah. Ooh, somebody has a B350 Tomahawk. Wait, is that a 6-phase for V-Core, or is that 6-phase and then there's another 2 or 3 phases? Well, there should be 4 more. Because if there's 6 phases, only 6 phases altogether, then I wouldn't try to overclock on that at all, because that's a 4+2, and you're running a CPU that could end up pulling well over 100 watts if you really, really pushed it. So that would cause issues. Mave Killer, about the Steam library. Send me a message about that on Facebook or on YouTube or anywhere. I'll deal with that. But the thing about game benchmarks is I don't really want to do them. They're too much work. So, yeah. Yeah, here's the thing about like seeing overclocks on the different AMD CPUs currently available. Unless somebody has like 10 of every single chip, I wouldn't really go like, yeah, that's a reliable statistic right there. And like even 10, I would say it's not enough. What? Lol, too much. Do I think Ryzen will clock higher? They would need to release a revision of Ryzen. They might, like, maybe as the steppings of the CPUs change, they might clock better. But I don't really think it's going to be like Glowflow just suddenly accidentally starts making better Ryzen chips. Don't really think that's going to happen. Because we haven't really seen that happen for, like, the RX 480s all pretty much clock the same. It's just at launch, everybody was stuck on reference coolers with locked voltage. And now we have proper custom coolers with manual voltage control, and, you know, you can push whatever the hell you want. And you can actually get most cards above 1400. Actually, speaking of, you know what? If you want to send me a message, you know what? Yeah, if anybody wants to send me an email, I have buildzoid@gmail.com. That's like the channel email for everything. Boom. There. It's in the chat. Didn't the 7700K have a horrible first batch? I'm not aware of the 7700K ever having a bad batch. Well, I know there's like variants batch to batch, but not aware of one specific batch being really, really bad. That? No, I have the door hanger I have up there. That's M-Power. That's for this board. The cheapest overclocking motherboard for Z87. Because, you know, I needed something to overclock a 4790K on, and needed it to be cheap. Oh, and actually, I've delited my G3258, so that will probably be the next live stream. With the G3258. Or maybe, like, if I had more LN2, and I know I already have 65 liters of storage, but I need more. If I had more LN2 and more time, I would probably want to stream more often, because at this point it's, you know, it's gotten a lot less stressful than it used to be when I was starting out. Will I be getting my hands on some Ryzen chips to OC on LN2? I've gotten my hands on this chip. And as much as I wanted to change my personal system from the 5930K to a Ryzen, I can't currently do that because there's probably no way I'm getting another Ryzen CPU. So this one is going to do everything. And that includes LN2. And I'm going to be very careful so that I don't accidentally kill the CPU. So, yeah. Hope that answers your question. You are, of course, completely welcome to go spam AMD on Twitter to telling them to send me more CPUs. Not that I think that'll actually achieve anything. Somebody tried to make a thread on Reddit which was like, "Hey AMD, send Buildzoid a CPU." It was like, well, I appreciate the gesture, but I don't think that's gonna work. And also it makes me look bad because I actually had to go in there and was like, no, it's not me begging. Okay, that's not me. So... Are Xeon processors worth the time or money? What do you want to do with your Xeon, and which version, and how much are you paying for it? I wanted one of those 14-core Xeons. Just like to run on my X79 system. So I'm looking at that Ryzen voltage curve. You know what? It might be really convenient if I just use the second monitor to... Okay, wait, let me just reorganize things. See, is there any point in me showing... I mean, I don't really like having everybody stare at my face all the time, so... We're doing that. We're doing that. There we go. Bam! Nope. Full screen. That. There we go, that worked. Perfect. And the chat is gone. Oh well. Yeah, so that's the curve. That looks pretty accurate to me. I don't think, like, there's gonna be spread around that. I don't know about this wobble, but this pretty much lines up with everything I heard about launch day overclocking. Well, I mean, it ends a little bit early, doesn't it? 1.44 gigahertz. But... yeah, it seems pretty realistic. Okay. We have another case of AMD limited the CPU temperature to 75. It's not actually 75 degrees, it's 75 degrees AMD units, which are who the hell knows what. Apparently, no, actually, AMD's temperature system changes what 75 degrees actually means depending on what voltage you set the CPU to. It actually moves it up and down. It also moves up and down with frequency and all kinds of other things, basically to make sure that the CPU is always safe. And it's sort of, in some sense, it's a better system than what Intel does, except it's really obnoxious when everybody is used to the Intel way of reporting just, you know, a temperature and saying TJ max is 105 regardless of actually how much voltage you run through it. And where did my mouse go? Oh, there it went. What's the reason why I don't like NVIDIA? So first things first, one, that's a 1080p monitor. That's a 1080p ultra wide. That's a 1080p. If I want to run Infinity on this, I can. If I wanted to run NVIDIA Surround, I couldn't, just because NVIDIA doesn't support this. The other thing is, NVIDIA 10 series cards are a case of you hard mod the temperature sensor. The card gets stuck at 139 megahertz. You disable the power limit. It gets stuck at 139 megahertz. You replace the VRM with an e-power. It gets stuck at 139 megahertz. You pretty much do anything. Oh, no, you don't lower the power limit too low, and you raise the V-core. It bounces, it hits the power limit anyway, because the power limit was always really, really low to start with. So even after raising it, it's too low. Boost 3.0 is extremely pleasant if you're around that 0 degree area, because if you go above 0 degrees, Boost 3.0 kicks in and gives you 130 megahertz extra. If you go under 100 degrees, you lose that 130 megahertz. So if you don't want your performance to suck, you know, you might be running like 2400 megahertz core clock at minus 20 degrees, but you're running through a really hot part of the benchmark, so your temperature blips above 0 degrees for a tenth of a second, and the GPU picks up another 100 megahertz and instantaneously crashes because, you know, NVIDIA loves you. So yeah, basically, the reason why I don't like NVIDIA is that their more recent cards are steadily getting more and more and more difficult to overclock because you can't even hard mod the damn things. And mind you, this is all based on things I've been told by other people. I haven't actually tested it, so yeah. But like, yeah, NVIDIA dominates in performance, and I'm really excited for the 1080 Ti custom cards, because the custom 1080 Ti's at the very least will be a case of, you know, Kingpin. There will be a Kingpin edition, and there might be a Lightning. I'm not entirely certain because MSI is sort of stepping out of the overclocking scene. There will be a Hall of Fame from Galax and all of those crazy cards, and those won't need any hard mods, and they'll have all the restrictions hopefully have all the restrictions lifted by NVIDIA. Because from last I heard, apparently even just getting in custom, like the custom PCB, like the ridiculous LN2 edition cards, there have been problems with getting BIOSes approved for those cards because NVIDIA just took so long to do it. So, yeah. No, but you know why the shunt mod is done with liquid metal instead of soldering over it? Because if you solder over one of NVIDIA's shunts, the card's power limit drops so high, like your power reading drops so low that you trigger NVIDIA safety. So the NVIDIA safety goes like, oh, the card is running on 0 watts. That's impossible. Let's lock the core clock. Video drivers. So, yeah. Do I think the 1080 is the 1080 Ti actually a good deal? It's $700 for the Founders Edition or reference design. So, will it be possible? Custom 1080 Ti BIOS on your Titan XP Hybrid. Not sure. Really depends on like how custom the cards are. 1080 Ti being a good deal.
I did buy Fury X's, so I guess, you know, if Fury X's were a good deal, then 1080 Ti's are a great one. But it is still $700, and I don't know, I think it's just a case of NVIDIA's like, well, the Titan XP has been out for long enough now, we're just going to replace it with the 1080 Ti. 5820K or 6800K. The 5820K clocks better, but the 6800K has a better memory controller. If you want to run 3 gigahertz RAM or higher, then get the 6800K. Also, the 6800K uses less power, so that, you know, depending on what your cooling is and how fast your RAM you want to be, choose. We need to find a way to turn off NVIDIA's safeties. No, all of NVIDIA's safeties are driver level. All of them. Every single one of them is driver level because they all rely on the driver to detect that there is something wrong with some of the measurements reported by the GPU. So, yeah. Does the HBM have to be on die like on the Fury X, or do they do this because they have... So, actually, on die. It's not really on die. So this is the dead Fury X. At this point, I've sort of given up, and it's become a wall ornament. So, yeah, this is the dead card, and this was me trying to revive it for a little bit, and then I was just like, screw it, it's dead. Because I actually screwed that little revival mod even more up. So anyway, this is a Fury X. The HBM is the stacks around that. And the reason why they use the silicon interposer is that each of those little the little HBM chips has 1024 traces going from it to the, actually no, 1024-bit data connection. So it's actually way more traces than there are bits for the chip. So the problem is, if you tried to trace 1,000 bits worth of data connections, you'd be kind of screwed. If I remember correctly, GDDR5 chips are like 64 or like 80-something pins, and those only communicate over a 32-bit bus per chip. That's 1,024 bits. You'd be looking at maybe 2,000 pins to connect that to a PCB. There's no way anybody's going to try to do that, which is why the Fury X uses an interposer, because if they put those memory chips on top of the GPU core, it would overheat instantly. And why the interposer is basically a thing, because you can't really connect it any other way, as you need way too many traces to do it. They could use a CPU substrate, like the thing that connects like the PCB for like a CPU chip. They could use that instead, but the trace length would be like, it wouldn't be as quick. Well, it wouldn't be as compact as this option. So it's pretty much a case of there's far too many traces to deal with. Is it worth trying to reapply the thermal paste on a Fury card? Taking the heatsink off a Fury X is the most nightmare... Wait, depending on which card you have. If you have a Fury X with a stupid little steel retention plate, it's a freaking nightmare to replace the heatsink on it. And it's very likely that, like, that's how I killed this one. I broke the interposer trying to remount the heatsink, or at least I think I did. I'm not really sure, but this card's dead, and this card was the card I kept rebuilding. And this one died first. So I'm going to blame having to rebuild the card several times. So basically, if you have a card using the retention bracket, I wouldn't really chance replacing the thermal paste on it, because the heat sinks are already so massive that you don't really need more cooling. But yeah, you know, it's your card. You can figure out what to do. What? Bend a pin on your... That's stupid. I mean, sure, you can bend them back, but there's a risk of them snapping off, you know, and then I'd be really, really, really screwed. So, should we pack up here? Because I've been streaming for 3 hours and 30 minutes at this point, and, you know, unless you all have some burning questions on your mind, I don't really think this is going to go much anywhere at this point. How about a thermal paste replacement on a Sapphire Fury Tri-X? Yeah, sure, go ahead. That's not that hard to do. So since HBM is so much more expensive, yeah, you know, here's the thing. You could never ever build a GDDR5 card this big. Ever. Ever. Never ever. Because you need to fit the memory chip somewhere. So, well, not one with a GPU core this massive. Or with a memory, like a data connection this good. Because you need a lot of space to fit all that GDDR5. So HBM does have a few benefits. You get a much smaller form factor. And also, it's a lot more power efficient. It runs on very, very little power compared to like GDDR5. GDDR5 is around 2.5 watts per chip, whereas HBM is pretty much the same, except one chip of HBM is equivalent to, let's see, like several GDDR5 chips, you know. So yeah, HBM is like, you get huge power efficiency benefits, and you get really like much smaller cards. And this actually, like, I'm almost 100% certain that AMD screwed up the memory controller here, because this was the first HBM card ever, and then there's some synthetic tests for memory throughput, and this thing scores about 300 gigs per second on that, which is way below the 512 gigs theoretical throughput that HBM is supposed to have. So, well, this arrangement of HBM is supposed to have. So, right now, I think it's a case of, yeah, HBM does have performance benefits over GDDR5 that are awesome. The problem is, the Fury X really didn't have them because it was the prototype for HBM cards from AMD. So, yeah. Yeah, let's you know, let's close, and yeah, let's just close on that note about the HBM. Thank you for watching. You can't actually subscribe to me on Twitch. I think most of you've already subscribed to my YouTube channel, but you know, you could join the notification squad. Do I have a? No more questions. We're ending it. So yeah. So thanks for watching. And do the subscribe stuff. I have a PayPal if you would like to support me. It's buildzoid@gmail.com. And I have a Patreon, which you should be able to access through one of the links down below the stream. So it should be under the support AHOC link, and then there should be another link. And I know it's it's a complicated process, but yeah. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.